Hello and welcome to another Stamp with Amy K Facebook Live. And today I'm going to show you a card that I made with the fun Penguin Place stamp set and the Penguin Playmates designer series paper. That is one of the free items that you can get from Stampin' Up! During Celebration, which started today. So yay, I'm excited about that. And the new July to December mini catalog kicks off today. And the new joining promotion starts today. So there's just all kinds of good stuff going on from Stampin' Up! Right now. So all right, let's talk a little bit about the card. Hey, Bree and Debbie, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for joining today. Appreciate you being here. So the card, it's actually pretty simple, but I wanted to keep it kind of simple because, today's a little crazy, but it's fun. I love the little peek through holes in here. So, and the papers that I used on it, all the little critters in the background, and the stripe paper all comes from the Penguin Playmates 12 by 12 designer series paper, which, like I said, is one of the free ones that you can get during Celebration with an order of $50 or greater. So we all love free, at least I love free. So I thought I'd share a fun card with you today. Hey, Elise and Karen and Jerry, thanks for joining as well. So this is the stamp set. It's actually bundled together in the new July to December, which started in August, so I know it's way confusing, mini catalog, which started today. So this is available, the stamp set is available now today. There's actually a really cute little punch that matches this penguin, which of course we're not using on the card today because we didn't need to because there's all these cute critters in the paper. So no need to use the punch, but it is bundled together with a punch for 10% off in the catalog. So definitely take advantage of that and don't miss out on ordering the punch if you're going to get the stamp set because it's just way too cute. So hey, Julie and Deb and Jillian and Akiko, and I know a few more people snuck. Oh, Catherine's here as well. Glad that you all are joining today. And I apologize if I missed anyone. So thanks again for joining. All right, so that is the stamp set. It is a photopolymer, so it's one of the clear ones, so you can see through it to do your two-step stamping on it. So that definitely makes it easier. And it's got a lot of fun little sentiments too. So it's definitely got things for the holidays, but there's a birthday one that we're going to be using today. And then just kind of some fun other little sentiments that you can use on it as well. All right, so let me set that aside. The other stamp set that I used actually on the inside of it for the sentiment is from the Party Puffins because, puffins, penguins, we can't have one without the other, I think. So this stamp set is actually in the current annual catalog. So this one's been around for a couple months, a month or two, whatever it's been, when the annual catalog started. But I am actually just using the From All of Us stamp set, or stamp out of this stamp set. Just used it on the inside of the card because, again, it's got all the little critters on the front of it. So I figured a From All of Us sentiment was a good one in there. The die that I used, and I just drew a total blank on the name of the die set. Of course, hold on, let me grab it. Golly, you wouldn't think I would forget these things so quickly, but my brain is a little frazzled today with sort of the craziness of the new catalog starting and putting my paper shares, and I was up early this morning, so that's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. So these are the Picture This dies, and they are from the current annual catalog as well. I obviously used the round ones on here. This is a cool set of dies because you can use it to cut out the inside circles, or you can do what I did and use it to cut the designer series paper, and then you've got little peek through holes in here for the card front. So hey, Jan from Smoky, Oregon. Ugh, sorry to hear that. Hopefully it clears up out there soon. Yuck. So, and Penny's here and Barbara as well. Yeah, thanks, Jeannie. I'm glad that you like it. So again, this is the die set. There is a rectangular set of dies that go with it. That it's the same basic concept as the circle ones, that you can use the dies individually, or you can actually use them to cut little peek throughs on a piece of paper and have something stamped or pretty paper or whatever on the background. So again, those are the dies we're going to be using. So I'm going to set those aside. And then I used some of the circle dies to cut out the images here from the designer series paper. You certainly don't have to do that, but I did do it just to make sure that I kind of ended up with something that was a similar shape, because sometimes, again, as you all know, fussy cutting is not my thing, and I was worried actually that I would cut something too square and then I'd have like a chunk and then I'd be shifting things around and it wouldn't work right, and anyhow, so that is why I stuck with the circle dies. Again, you certainly don't need to use the circle dies when you're cutting the background pieces, but I just personally found it easier so that I didn't mess anything up when I was cutting, and then I pretty well knew what it was going to look like when it came through, and I'll show you in a minute how I did that. Hey, Rosie, I'm glad you're here as well. And Deb, yeah, it's a good set of dies, and they are kind of hidden in the catalog, so definitely take a look. A couple things before I get going. The sales tax holidays. If you're in one of the states that has one, go check my blog post today, stampwithamyk.com. There are some details out there. If you are in one of the states that's got a sales tax holiday, check the Stampin' Up! Catalog because there are some items that are considered school supplies, so you get those tax-free. There are a couple states that are going on now, some that are coming up, so go take a peek at that. And then I'm offering double running shoe reward points for any order of $50 or greater for the first week of celebration, so that goes through the 10th of August. So go put it in order and get some good stuff. So, all right. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is, my awesome die cutting and fussy cutting skills. We're just going to take this die. This is a piece from the Penguin Playmates 12 by 12 designer series paper, which again is one of the free ones that you can get with an order of $50 or greater from Stampin' Up! During celebration. So we are just going to take that and we are going to run this right through the die cutting machine. And it doesn't have to be any certain kind of placement. If you want it on like that, you can put it on like that, or however it works best for you. I'm going to try to get it fairly centered when I run it through, but it doesn't have to be. That's the fun of this die. So I don't know why Facebook is acting awfully strange for me. I don't know. Hopefully it's working all right for you guys, but it keeps pausing and doing weird things on my computer. So I don't know. All right, so I'm going to be over here die cutting for just 1 second. Hopefully y'all are having a good Tuesday afternoon, or I guess it's not afternoon everywhere, but a good Tuesday, I'll just say that. So we've got some little die cut circles. You can hold on to these and use them on another project. You can also flip them over and just see if you happen to get any that will work for the cutting of the little critters' faces. Unfortunately, we got them all chopped up, so they aren't going to work well, but you can hang out of those and use them for another project some other time. All right, so we've got that done. Whoop. Got one of the little die cuts that didn't come out. Okay, so we've got our basic background panel. The next thing that I did was just took 3 sheets of that designer series paper from the Penguin Playmates, if I can get them picked up, that is. And I just picked critters that I wanted to peek through the holes on here. So the smaller holes, obviously I tried to pick smaller little critters like that one. And then the little fox would fit in there, this fox would. For the bigger ones, I used one of the little penguins on here, but you could definitely use the penguin on here, and then one of the snowmen. What else did I use? Is a penguin, a snowman? Oh, and the bear. I was saying, well, I knew there was a big one that I was missing. Duh. Okay, so it's the bear, the penguin, and the snowman that I used in the bigger openings. Again, what I did was I took the circle dies and I kind of compared sizes, and I wanted to make sure that it was obviously bigger than the opening so that I had room around it to glue it. So I'm going to take 3 of the larger images and die cut them with this circle, which this one is what, the 4th largest? Yeah, 4th largest of the circles. Again, you could use any of the larger ones for the openings that you want to, or like I said, if you're better at fussy cutting and more skilled at it than I am, you could definitely just cut around it with the scissors. But like I said, I just didn't trust myself to do it and not chop something that I didn't want chopped. So on the little polar bear, hold on a second. Apparently I talk too much in my videos because I start coughing every time. So on the little polar bear, I tried to kind of cut it so that I had a little bit of this tree on here and not so much of the little penguin flipper or paw or whatever the penguin thing is over here, so that I can hopefully hide that when I'm gluing it on the card front. This little penguin down here, it doesn't matter. I just wanted him cut out so he was fairly centered. So I'm going to go and run this through the die cutting machine 2 times here. I'm going to run through with the bear, and then we're going to grab one of these little penguins. So that paper is really way, way cute. So it's one of my favorite things. Well, everything's my favorite thing, but the celebration this time around is really, really good. So many good things to pick from. And I love that lots of things coordinate with the bigger catalogs too, which is always a nice benefit. So we've got our bear cut out, and then I'm going to take the little penguin and cut him out as well, or her. I guess it doesn't have to be a him. I don't know what it is. And then if you like the little sleeping fox, you could definitely cut that one out too. I picked one that was a little more of an active looking fox. But I did cut one of these snowmen out here. So I'm going to grab, actually I think I'll grab this one because he's closer to the edge. And again, I'm just going to cut it to try to minimize this extra stuff that I'm getting in the background. So I'll cut it about like that, run it through my, whoop, I guess I need to put it on screen so y'all can see it. I'll cut it about like that. Run it through my die cutting machine over here. And then we'll cut out 2 more of the little critters, and then we'll start gluing. It's, like I said, it's a pretty simple card to put together once you pick out which pieces you want to die cut and put on the background. All right, we'll get that paper out of the way. So we've got our 3 bigger pieces done. Now we just need to pick out the 2 littler critters that we're going to die cut. And again, just make sure that the opening, that it's going to fit around it with my circle dies. And I may actually even go with, I may go one bigger just because it's a small image. And I want to make sure that I have plenty of extra space around it for glue because I tend to make a gluey mess. So I'm going to cut out one of the little fox images and then one of the little bunny images. Oh, you weren't going to get the penguin designer paper? Oh man, that is the best. It's way cute. So yeah, you definitely need to get it. There's no question on that, Catherine. But then I think you need to get all the celebration stuff this time around because it's really some good things. I mean, I don't know about you all. I don't know what your thoughts are on it. What's everybody liking from the celebration catalog? I'm really liking everything. So I'm having a hard time picking just one. So, all right, let's get the little bunny cut out and then we'll be ready to start gluing. All right, get that designer paper out of the way and get the die set out of the way here as well. I did grab my silicone craft sheet, which again isn't really a necessary item, but it makes it a little bit easier when you're doing these types of projects where it's going to be gluing and layering things together if you have that, so that you can, if you end up with kind of a glue mess on the back, that you don't end up with your card stuck to your paper, which probably don't want that. So, all right, so we're going to start by adding a little bit of adhesive here, and I'm just going to go around some of the die cuts here, using my Stampin' seal, hopefully. There we go. And I'm just going to, I'm starting with this larger image because I know that this one I'm probably even going to have to, I might have to trim this one down a little bit, but maybe not. Just want to get it stuck on here fairly straight. And again, the craft sheet, I do have some adhesive that's around the edge that didn't catch the paper, but it's okay because I've got the craft sheet under it. It's not sticking to everything and making a huge mess. At least hopefully it's not. I'll probably end up with it stuck to something before I'm done because, I just tend to make a mess. But the craft sheet does really help a lot. It's one of those tools that if you don't have, you don't realize how much you need it until you have it. And then you're like, oh, this is the best thing ever. So, all right, so we've got our little penguin here. Whoop, I think I'm going to scooch him over just a little bit. And as you can see, I've got a little tiny, at least hopefully you can see, there's a little tiny bit of the penguin that is like peeking out here, so that I can just take my scissors, flip it back over, and just kind of hack away. This is the kind of fussy cutting that I can do, is just hacking at it with the scissors. And nobody's going to see it because it's all going to be glued down, so as long as you don't cut it like that so that you've got, the opening showing, then you're good. You can do whatever. So let's add a little bit more adhesive here. I'm going to go to the next larger image, which is going to be our little polar bear up here in the corner. And I'm going to have him peeking. So great. It is a good celebration catalog. And yes, lots of, goodness, I hope the video is going okay. Like I said, I'm getting all sorts of weird errors. So I'm hoping that you guys are still there. Goodness. Oh, it started back up again for me. So I apologize. I'm not sure what is going on. Whether it's just my computer that's acting up today. I'm hoping that Facebook isn't generally acting up and not recording this correctly, but all right. So we've got our three of the larger images here peeking through. Then we're going to add our little bunny and our fox on here as well. And again, just taking the Stampin' seal and just running it around. If you prefer to use liquid glue, you can definitely do that. Liquid glue and I aren't always friends. We'll just say that. We don't always get along very well. I tend to get a little heavy-handed sometimes with liquid glue, and I make a big big old mess, and then glue is seeping out everywhere. I tend to work a little bit better with the drier type adhesives, like the Stampin' Seal type things. And then, I don't know if you can see it, but here I've got a little bit of the adhesive that's sort of like strung across here. Then all I have to do is just take my finger and roll it down, and the adhesive is all gone and tucked down under, and again, where nobody will ever see it or know that you had a glueberry mess. And then I'm going to take my little fox and put that right there. So we've got all the little critters on here. The last piece that we need to do is stamp the little sentiment on. And I did go ahead and just die cut this with one of the circle dies. It's one of the smaller circle dies from Basic White Cardstock. And we are going to stamp the sentiment in Misty Moonlight ink so that it matches the paper. Oh, I'm glad it came back. You said, okay. I don't know if it's my internet or something is going crazy, but like I said, I haven't had issues with it for a little while, and now all of a sudden it's like every time I go live, something weird happens. But all right, so we're stamping the sentiment, Misty Moonlight ink, Basic White Cardstock, and I've die cut it ahead of time with one of the circle dies. Going to give that a second to dry while I add the adhesive on the back. And again, it's just going to be the same process of sticking a little bit of adhesive around the opening, and we're just going to make sure that we catch a little bit of the cardstock on the adhesive. And again, it doesn't matter how yucky it looks on the back or how gluey everything is, because it's all going to be stuck to a piece of cardstock, so nobody's ever going to see the mess that you made on the back side of it. So, all right, we're going to add a little bit more Stampin' Seal to the back. Just kind of go around the edges here. And I probably totally forgot to say, the piece that I actually started with before I die cut the circles out of it was actually 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And then I'm going to adhere that to a piece of Basic White Cardstock that's cut to 4 by 5 1/4. So it should fit pretty nicely on the card front once I get everything all glued together. So that's all there is to it. So it's super simple. Like I said, the die cut where it cuts all the holes in there for you, and then you can just pick what you want to peek through the holes. That makes it a little bit, I don't know, like I said, I think it's kind of fun. And it's super easy to do, especially when you have all that free Designer Series paper. I don't feel as badly chopping it all up like that and cutting circles out of everything when it's free. For whatever reason, if I've had to pay for it, then I feel all bad hacking up Designer Series paper. But if it's free, I'm like, chop away. So, all right, so I'm going to adhere this to the card front with some Stampin' Dimensionals. And the card base is actually Misty Moonlight. My original card base was one of my usual top opening ones. So this one is cut to 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5 1/2 at the top. This one is just your standard book fold card base, which is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 and scored right in the middle at 4 1/4. So this design will actually work with either one of the card bases. But I usually, like I said, if I've got both card bases available, I try to show you both so that you we'll see that it works for you no matter what, whichever way you prefer. I know some people love the book fold ones, and some people like me are weird and like the top fold ones. So just going to adhere that on the card front, and the card front is all done. You can add some little sparkly, blingy, whatever to it. This one I kind of wanted to work for either a boy or a girl, and so I didn't want to bling it up too much. So that was sort of why I left it as it was without a whole lot of bling on it. Then on the inside of the card, we're just going to do a little bit of quick stamping. Hopefully, if I can find all my inks and stamps. Again, I've got Misty Moonlight, and the sentiment is from the Party Puffins stamp set. And we're going to stamp the From All of Us sentiment, hopefully straight here on a piece of Basic White Cardstock. I think I got it reasonably straight. That's kind of nice that the sentiment isn't exactly straight, because then I don't feel bad if it's a little crookedy. Then we've got some of the little penguin pieces from the Penguin Place stamp set. I've got Tuxedo Black Memento ink here. That's what I'm using for the little penguin body. And I think I must have stamped it differently on the inside of my card, but that's okay. We'll just make it, we'll do this. I can't remember exactly how I stamped it on the inside of my card. I may have put him in a different spot. All right. The little feet and beak on the Penguin Place, I reach up and bang things around. On the Penguin Place stamp set, just be aware, most of you are probably more observant than I am, but I didn't realize there were 2 beaks in the stamp set. When I initially looked at it, this was the only beak that I saw. And I'm like, how in the world does that work on this bird? It doesn't. And then I realized that this is the beak that goes on this one. So don't be like me. Make sure you grab the right beak before you stamp it, because yeah, I stamped it and everything the first time and I'm like, this is not right. Oh, that's because I picked the wrong little mouthpiece on it. So I've got Calypso Coral ink and I'm gonna try to stamp this here. I think I got it fairly straight there. And then his little penguin, or her little penguin feet, I'm also stamping in the Calypso Coral ink. The one nice thing about the stamp set is that it does have the pair of feet together in one stamp, so you don't have to worry about, trying to get them to fit inside the little penguin body. So next up, I've got the string for the balloon, and I'm going to stamp that in Sahara. Actually, you know what? I'm going to stamp the balloon first, I think. Nah, I'll stamp the string first. Because if the balloon goes off, it goes off. Then I won't worry about it. So, all right, so we've got Sahara Sand ink, and I'm going to have my little penguin buddy here holding the string on the balloon. There we go. He's got a little curl in his hair, but that's okay. I think that works. And then on the inside, well, I'm glad that you are learning from my mistake, because I felt pretty silly when I realized that. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's why it didn't work very well, because I picked the wrong face piece. So a little bit of Just Jade ink for the balloon. I'm going to slide it down just a little bit, and hopefully I can see what I'm doing. All right, so we've got our little penguin in there holding the birthday balloon, and we're just going to run a piece of the Designer Series paper that was left over from chopping off the card front across the bottom, and we are going to be all done with the card today. So thanks so much for joining. I will plan to be back on my YouTube channel live around 2 o'clock Eastern Time on Friday. Next week, I'm actually going to be out of town. My kids and I are going back to visit my family in Iowa, of all places, for a couple of days. So I'm going to be out of town next week. So I won't be doing any lives. I will be sharing on my blog, which is stampwithamyk.com. So be sure to stop by there, and you can keep up to date with all the latest Stampin' Up! Goings on and the projects that I'm making and sharing. So you can do that there, but I won't be going live next week at all. But I will be back the following week, which I think that's August 17th will be the following Tuesday when I'll be back live again. All right, just adhering that to the inside of the card with a little bit of Stampin' Seal, and we are all done. So I'm going to try not to throw the bone folder across the table. Take that and give it a quick crease here along the edge. Slide all my mess out of the way, and then show you the two cards. So this is the one that I'd made ahead of time as the sample. This is the one that we made here today. And you definitely need to get the picture of this dies. Again, they're in the annual catalog, so go take a peek for them or go look for them in the online store. Definitely a good set of dies because you can do these fun little face collages with them. So tons of fun. And again, you're all going to be getting that Penguin Playmates Designer Series paper. So you're going to want to cut it all up and put it in here. So you definitely need the die set. So, all right. Thanks again for joining today. I appreciate you all being here. Have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday. And I will plan again to be back, like I said, on Friday around 2 o'clock Eastern Time out on YouTube. And we will chat again soon. So thanks for joining. Let me know if you have any questions about Celebration or how that works, or questions about joining, because there's a really awesome joining promotion going on right now too. You get a free bundle. You get to pick from one of 12 from the new catalog. So if you purchase the starter kit, you get a free bundle with it. So yay. So let me know if you have questions. If you're interested in joining, I'd love to have you join the team as well. So thanks again for listening. Thanks for being here, and we will chat soon.